What is the like top three things that they should focus on?
Yeah. Okay. So my tips are going to be they're not practical tips, but I think they're really important. I think my first tip is have fun. Don't forget to have fun. Like I found I stressed so much in my first year of business. When I look back on it now and I think, like if only I'd enjoyed it a little bit more. I created a business so I could get out of a job that I hated, and then I ended up in a business that I wasn't enjoying. So I wish I'd just stopped stressing so much and enjoyed a little bit more.
Yeah.
Another tip would be to be flexible and be open to things changing. Don't go into your business with this fixed mindset of this is exactly how it needs to look. Be okay if customers give you feedback and you need to pivot. Be okay if you decide that you don't like the topic of your podcast and you want to change it. Like, that's all good. I think a lot of the time we disappoint ourselves because we have this fixed expectation of what it's supposed to look like. And then the reality doesn't live up to that. And we're too fixed on on that expectation to be flexible with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third tip, I would say probably don't be afraid to fail. Like, don't be...
Wow, that's a good one.
I suppose that kind of ties into the being flexible about the outcome, but a lot of the time we're so afraid of failing that we do everything we can to avoid that failure, and trying to avoid that failure, we actually create that failure. So, for example, if I'm so afraid that I'm going to launch a podcast that's going to fail, while I'm recording that podcast, I'm going to sound really scared. It's not going to be the best content. People are going to listen to it. They're not going to like it, and it's going to fail. Whereas if you go out there with like, I'm just going to give this 100%, and if it fails, well, cool, I'll try something else. That's a totally different energy.
Wow, yeah. And I think I heard one of your episodes speaking about this. There was some lunch that you got so stressed about it that in the end it didn't end up being such a good one, right?
Yeah, and there've been a few of those.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's easy said than done, I would say. And myself, I find myself a lot of times in this, emotion roller coaster and thinking, okay, what if I cannot make money and I have to go back to find a job, go back to this corporate world because I'm loving so much, doing my own thing that, it intensifies the fear of, losing it all and going back. And it's so hard to just be flexible about it and be chilled about it and say, okay, no worries. If it fails, it fails,
Exactly. Well, yeah, worst case scenario, you go get a job and then you come back and you try again. That's exactly what I had to do.
Yeah. And it's not so bad, right? Now you're
it's
successful.
Not so bad.